Welcome to another edition of Anglican Unscripted. This is episode 251, not the Brexit edition, just the UK edition. I'm Kevin Carlson.
I'm the Reverend Peter Old. Today is the 24th of October, 2016.
Okay, it's been about a month or two since we've had you on the program. We talked about Brexit. There's more news coming from England, specifically for whom does the bell toll? There's York bell ringers are having a little trouble getting to the church on time because they've been blocked and have to reapply for their jobs. Can you give us a little update of what's going on there?
Yeah, so this is a story that's been on the front pages of Sunday newspapers here. And it's all about a bunch of campanologists and one particular campanologist whose name is David Potter. So about 2 weeks ago, the York bell ringers in the Minster were summoned to a meeting and given letters that basically said, look, you're no longer bell ringing for us. We're going to appoint a full-time salaried head of bell ringing in the new year, and then you can reapply if you want to join that, okay? And ostensibly it was because of health and safety issues and so on, right? Turns out the story's not quite that simple, and there's stuff going on in the background. And this is what's gone on, okay? So what I'm giving you now is the timeline of events, not what the paper said, but what has actually happened, okay? We need to go back 16 years. And the man at the time who was in charge of bell ringing, so he was the tower captain in York Minster, a man called David Potter, is arrested by the police. He's at that time serving as a senior teacher in a private school. He's arrested by the police, and he is questioned in terms of a sexual offence against a minor, a female. Okay. After a month or two, the police drop the case. Okay.
No,
it's gone.
Not enough evidence to pursue.
Not enough evidence to pursue. Okay. Move forward to the summer of 2015. So we're talking about 15 months ago. Okay. Now, the Church of England is currently going through a series of sort of reviews of its safeguarding cases and stuff like that. And this case comes up again, and somehow the stuff from 16 years ago comes up again, and the police want to put in a sexual prevention order, which is basically an order against somebody that says you can't do X, Y, and Z because we suspect you might, in those circumstances, commit a sexual offence. Okay.
Even though he's never been convicted
or
charged.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And there are some reasons for that. Okay. So this goes to a magistrate's court. Okay, in the summer of 2015. And the magistrate grants the police a temporary order, okay, and says, but look, we need to have a full hearing on this, and we need to you need to come to us with some really robust evidence for this, so we can turn this into a permanent order, okay. Move forward to November, December 2015, and you get the full hearing, at which point the magistrates refuse the order on the basis that there isn't enough evidence, and say that the costs for Mr. Potter have to be paid for, right?
Wow.
So it's gone through 6 months of this, okay? Right.
Yeah.
Now, my understanding is, at this point, the Church of England, having suspended Mr. Potter when the sexual prevention order was in place, now have their own review. So up to this point, they've been doing what the police asked them to do, right? They've been obeying the law.
Right.
Now the order has been lifted.
So Mr. Potter, according to the police, there's nothing there.
According to the courts, there were no grounds. Yeah. Let's keep the police and the court.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. But Mr. Potter has been looked at very closely twice, and
Yes.
the court and the initial police investigation
Yeah.
found nothing.
At least this side of a Trump presidency, the police and the courts are separate. Okay. Right. So now we get into the new year 2016, and the
Uh-huh.
Church of England now launches its own safeguarding investigation into Mr. Potter, right? And says, and this runs through to about May, June, and they say there are grounds to have concerns about Mr. Potter, so we're going to not let him ring the bells and all this kind of stuff. So he can't be in any... Because remember, the Tower has people as young as 11, 12.
Right.
Okay, right. So they're grounds to believe. Now, having said that, most of the people who've been up a church tower or cathedral tower know there's not a lot of space anywhere to do anything, right?
No, it's a tight.
Got the ropes, right?
Yeah.
And that's about it, right? There are no spare nooks and crannies to fiddle with somebody, okay? But that's beside the point. Okay. And they say that Mr. Potter cannot ring the bells anymore. This is my understanding, okay?
Okay.
And I'm happy to be corrected. At which point, the current tower captain and a lot of the tower basically say, look, come on, he's been through an arrest in 2000 that was dropped, right? He's been through this case recently that the magistrates were so unimpressed by the police case that they ordered that all of Mr. Potter's expenses be paid by the police.
Right.
Okay? And you think that despite that, there's enough grounds to do that. Now, rightly or wrongly, that's their position, right?
All right. Absolutely.
Then there is eventually the entire tower are sacked, right? And this chain of correspondence, so letter and counterclaim. And what's interesting is the initial response from the tower captain basically says, look, we know there's been disagreements. This is so this isn't naming who it is, and so we know there's been disagreements, but we want to work with you on these, right? But there's no reason to sack everybody, right? Because what happened was some of the tower wrote privately in their private capacity to the dean to complain about how Mr. Potter was treated, rightly or wrongly, and on that basis, on that opposition to the safeguarding practice, right? They sacked them. But the tower, so the dean then puts out a statement that says, look, the tower have been opposing our safeguarding practices, to which the tower captain then says, no, we have complied with everything that you've asked us to do. We just disagreed with it, and we wanted to tell you that we disagree with it. Okay?
Yeah.
And finally, the Archbishop steps in and goes, this is a safeguarding issue, blah, blah, blah. In which case you go, well, why was the original said to be health and safety? So the whole thing is on the front pages of news for the Telegraph and the Guardian and the Times. The Times, a guy called Kaya Burgess and Nicholas Helen did a particularly good job in the Times, the Sunday Times, of reporting this. And the whole thing is a stink, and it feeds into some of the concerns within parts of the Church of England with the way that some safeguarding issues have been handled. So particularly, Bishop Bell of Chichester, where an apology was given and a payment was given for some abuse claim, but it wasn't very clear whether the payment was for the abuse or for not handling it properly. And
that's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So now there are times when the Church of England is safeguarding really good. So Bishop Peter Ball, who was the Bishop of Gloucester when he was suspended and first prosecuted by the police and then is now in jail. The Church of England were very good at being very open about what all the evidence was. In this case, in the Tower, in the Bishop Bell case, the Church of England have been very poor at sharing what the evidence is, rightly or wrongly. They may be constrained by the law, right? But there's a basic principle, I think, at play here that we have to find a balance between two things, right? First thing is we need to safeguard people, right? So we need to make sure that minors and vulnerable adults are not put in any position of danger, right? Now, this is interesting because I counsel and pastor people on issues around sex and sexual identity and so on, right? And the first and the moment I get somebody referred to me, right, the first thing I do is I ask the person who refers that person, if they're over 18, do you consider this person to be a vulnerable adult?
Correct. Yeah.
If they do, I want to put other safeguards in place around my pastoral work. Even if I'm just sitting with somebody, I will have some kind of safeguard in place. I want to make sure that I meet them in a room with an open with
Yep.
a door,
Windows and doors and yep.
all these kind of things, right? Okay.
Hmm.
So that's fairly clear. Okay. So we want to safeguard people, but at the same time, we have a principle in the common law tradition, which stems from English common law and going right back to Magna Carta and stuff like that. But you have to have due process, and you have to have evidence presented, and you cannot convict people without a clear process being shown to have been performed. So you can't just say, "Well, we've got suspicions about somebody." Well, what are your suspicions? Well, we can't tell you.
That's
Right?
right.
We've got
That
we've got
doesn't. Yeah. That cannot
yeah,
exist in law.
doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And the allegation made by Mr. Potter's solicitor is that Mr. Potter has had almost no input into the Church of England safeguarding review over him. So he's had no chance to see what the evidence against him is and to respond to it and to rebut it if necessary. Now, I'm not saying whether that is true or not, but that's the allegation that's been made. So the whole thing is a right ding dong, to use a horrible pun. It's a right ding dong. It's a right stink. It did really feel, I have to say, it did feel that when John Sentamu did his press conference from the Minster, right? That he was like, "I'm the Archbishop. I'm in charge now. Stop talking." And I thought I personally, I thought it was entirely the wrong way. If he wanted to kind of exercise his authority, right, on this issue, what I would have done is I would have sat him down in a nice living room or conservatory, right, with some cuddly cushions behind him, with a family portrait in the rear, right, like my boys years ago, right, and you get sort of nice, cuddly, gentle. I'm going to have a talk with you about a serious topic, right?
Sure.
Rather than in the Minster, I'm the Archbishop, blah blah blah. I don't think it worked as a PR thing. I think it was a PR fail. So the whole thing been kind of shut down, and we wait to see what the further developments are.
Wow. Now, there's also an update this morning on the Asher bakers who refused to bake a cake because it included support gay marriage in the inscription on the cake. They said, we can't do that. And this has been battling through the courts now for a couple of years. We have finally an appeals court update. What is that?
So let's review what the case was about. Ashers are a bakery in Northern Ireland, which are run by a Christian family. Okay. Now, in the rest of the United Kingdom, in England, Wales, and Scotland, gay marriage is legal, but in Northern Ireland, it is not.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's the background. A gentleman walked into the baker's and said, "I want to have a cake baked for me. I want this slogan put on, which includes the word support gay marriage." Okay.
Great. Okay.
And the person behind the counter said, "Yeah, we can do that." Like, so it's just functioning behind the counter. And then when the manager saw it 3 or 4 hours later, he went, "Actually, no, we don't want to do that because that's against our beliefs, and it's a political campaign that we don't want to be involved with. And so we're actually going to refund you the money." At which point the person involved took Ashers to court, and the Equality Commission in Northern Ireland got involved as well, right, to kind of support this case. It's an interesting case.
It's politics, yeah.
Well, it went to an original trial, and they ruled that there was direct discrimination against the person who
made the complaint.
Ordered the cake. Right. Now, what's interesting was that the Ashers, the management of Ashers said, "Look, the person who made the decision never met the person who ordered the cake. It was basically based on the slogan, right?" And because of Northern Ireland's political history, okay, with the Protestant, Catholic, Unionist, Republican stuff, it is illegal in Northern Ireland to refuse to do business just on the basis of political leanings.
We all remember Northern Ireland in the 1970s.
So the Ashers lost the original court case, and they went to appeal, and the appeal tribunal gave their judgment this morning, and the judgment is really interesting. Let me explain why. The judges said that it was direct discrimination, but here's the thing: it wasn't that the person who baked the cake was directly discriminated against because they were gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was because the slogan includes reference to a protected characteristic, and that was what was discriminated against. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, you can only sue based on direct sole corporation or sole.
So exactly. So this is really interesting. I spoke to at least one solicitor this morning who was like, because the discrimination laws, as you say, are based in me as a corporation sole being discriminated against. Okay, so if I am gay and people don't do business with me because I am gay, it is because I, as a corporation sole, am gay. The discrimination comes. Okay, that can be direct discrimination or indirect discrimination. But what the tribunal is saying, no, it's the slogan. The slogan says support gay marriage, and that refers to a minority with a protected with a protected characteristic, and therefore to turn that down is direct discrimination against that group of people with the protected characteristic. Now, if I had some hair left, I'd be tearing it out here, right? Because think about it. This says that being gay and supporting gay marriage are the same thing, which is patently not. This says that being in a gay marriage and being gay are the same thing. They're not, right? And the whole thing is just ludicrous. But take a step forward, right? What would happen if I went into a baker's and they just happened to be run by people who were gay, and I asked for a cake to be baked with the slogan "Only
support
heterosexual
godly marriage."
Yeah. No. Only heterosexual marriage is real marriage. Okay.
Ooh.
Right. Because Northern Ireland's in the middle of a debate as to whether they should have gay marriage. Right. So you've got one slogan, I support gay marriage, which has changed the law, and another slogan, "Only heterosexual marriage is real marriage," which is to oppose changing the law. Right. So they're both political slogans. One references one protected sexual orientation and one another. Now, if the bakers were to turn down that cake, according to the ruling, that would be direct discrimination against heterosexuals. Right? Not me as a heterosexual, though I'm not. But actually against heterosexuals, right? Regardless of the orientation of the person placing the order. That's mad law. That's like combat Obergefell versus whoever, all is forgiven, right?
Well,
right?
It sets a brand new precedent. You know, this is, and now we've seen dumb rulings in the history of law for hundreds and hundreds of years. This one is a brand new precedent, making discrimination out of a concept, not an individual.
Yes.
And
so it is. Now, I hear Christians all the time saying, "Oh, we're moving into realms of having fought crime and blah blah blah," right? And 9 times out of 10, they're just being sensationalist and it's rubbish, and they should just grow up.
Yep.
But this is about fought crime. This is about saying you're not allowed to disagree with a political slogan referring to a group of people. Full stop. Right?
In a country where gay marriage is not which is not legal.
In a country, well, a province. In a province where gay marriage isn't legal.
Yeah.
It's illegal to turn down the manufacture of a slogan supporting a change in the law. That's a nonsense, right? And here's the thing. So linguistically, it's a nonsense. Because the full slogan is support gay marriage, and what the judges have done is taken the gay out and made that the issue without the context of the political. That's the whole thing. So anyway, there is a possibility of another appeal level within Northern Ireland, but more likely this will hopefully go to the UK Supreme Court, because the legal issues here aren't actually gay rights versus Christian rights, that's not a legal issue here. The tribunal has set a precedent in terms of what the discrimination laws actually apply to, right? Do they apply to corporation sole, right? Or do they apply to the mere concept of something, right? Which just takes us into the realm of thought crime. Madness.
Well, we've run up on 20 minutes and we've really got Peter excited. About the craziness of Northern Ireland. So basically, to sum up, there were no bells rung yesterday in York.
There were no bells rung yesterday. There will be no bells rung next Sunday. There will be no bells rung way into the new year.
Now, is this and this is done in protest, or this is this is the coming down from on high? You're not going to ring bells until we get this worked out.
Yeah, and even better, okay. So determined were they to remove the current tower, as in the people ringing the bells, from the bells, that when they were suspended, the current bell ringers said, look, you can't leave the bells up there as they are because they're pretty heavy and they might fall. That's how
that's true. Yeah.
So they need to be put in a certain place, right? They need to be So we'll come in and do that under supervision for you and make them safe. And the Minster said, no, you're not allowed in the tower. And they hired people in at great expense to do that.
Well, leave it to the Church of England to make something easy complicated. Yeah. All right, Peter, I'm going to let you go. We've hit 20 minutes, but anybody really interested in this topic dropped off at 21 minutes. But, like, oh my God, they're talking about the bells again. Thank you, Peter, for your time, and God bless.